We're outside here at Euston station for a pro-Palestinian protest calling for a ceasefire in Gaza.
What do you want? Ceasefire! When do you want it? Now!
I'm here to stand for my people's right to be free and live in dignity. I'm here to call for a ceasefire. I'm here to call for an end to a genocide that is unfolding in Gaza.
At the moment, we're in a situation where what I saw today is 9,500 people have been killed in Gaza by the IDF and by the bombing into the country, and that has to stop. It's enough already.
The UN and many other countries have called for a ceasefire to the Israel-Gaza war. They say it's needed to stop further civilian deaths. The Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu had this to say.
Calls for a ceasefire are calls for Israel to surrender to Hamas.
The UK has rejected calls for a ceasefire, leading to the protests occurring today. Rishi Sunak has insisted that the first and most important principle is that Israel has the right to defend itself under law. Sir Keir Starmer has advocated for a humanitarian pause to allow desperately needed aid into Gaza rather than a ceasefire. In an interview with LBC, he said that Israel have the right to cut power and water from entering into Gaza to defend themselves against Hamas.
Cutting off power, cutting off water?
Well, I think that Israel does have that right. It is an ongoing situation.
He later had to clarify what he meant in an interview with ITV.
Let me be clear about what I was saying and what I wasn't saying. I was saying Israel had the right to self-defense, and when I said that right, it was that right to self-defense. I was not saying that Israel had the right to cut off water, food, fuel or medicines.
The Palestine Solidarity Campaign are a group that have organised weekly demonstrations across the UK. They're advocating for a ceasefire in Gaza to end the conflict.
Shame on him in lots of ways, actually, for taking away our voice and not giving us an opposition in a lot of things. But here we are, and we've got people dying in their thousands, injured in their tens of thousands, disappearing under rubble, and he cannot see his way to a ceasefire. A humanitarian pause, give them a bit to eat and then bomb them, is outrageous.
I know there's been talk about Keir Starmer. Could you talk about his role in this?
Keir Starmer is a spineless coward. The depravity that has come from the Labour Party, from their leader, has been shocking. It's been disgusting that he and the Labour Party not willing to even call for a ceasefire when people are being genocided.
Keir Starmer refuses even to call for a ceasefire. He justifies the sort of the carpet bombing of Gaza.
He is not taking a strong enough line in opposition, but in my view, I don't see why anyone at all is in not condoning. I mean, we're not even taking a stand against this, and it's genocide. History will look back on this very bleakly.
If you had one message for people watching, what would it be?
To do whatever you can to make sure that we, as a country, oppose what is happening. We may be a friend to Israel, and what happened there on the 7th of October is a terrible thing. But what is happening now is a stain on the whole of humanity, and it's up to all of us as individuals to do what we can to stop it.
Elliot, Hartley, London, Euston, 2023.